Alright, we're going to construct a box and whisker plot. So, the first thing you do, I know it's repetitive, is you have to sort your data from least to greatest. So the list for this is going to be a little bit longer because your numbers, you usually have more data to sort. So let's do it. 13, 19, 24, 32, 45, 51, 53, 53, 54, 55, 61, 64. Alright, then we have 65, 66, 68, 68, oh. 69, 70, 70, 71, 74, 80, 88, 88, 90, 94. Alright, so pause it, write all those numbers down so you have it. We are still doing the previous lesson. Still have to do that, and then we're going to tack some stuff on it. So let's tackle that first. So, previous lesson. Let's go our min, 13. Check out our n. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Our n is 26. The other number we know right away is our max, that's 94. The rest of the stuff we have to figure out. Alright, when you have a lot of numbers like this, there's 26 numbers, so I usually go 2 short. So 2 short would be 24, cut that in half, that's 12. So you can count 12 in, and I usually put a dot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Alright, start here. Have to start from the end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Right? These are your 12 numbers. These are the 2 numbers that are left. That means these, in between this, is your median. So we have to add those 2. So it's 65 plus 66 divided by 2 is equal to 65.5. So right here is 65.5. And that's going to be your median. Alright, now that's separated your data. Now we go back, and that means we should have 13 numbers on this side, 13 numbers on this side, because there was a total of 26. And it didn't land on an exact value. Alright, so if there's 13 on this side, we should be able to count 6 in and 6 in. Or you can do it the way I showed you with just moving your fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. See how there's a middle number? This 53 is your Q1. And that's also called your lower quartile. So this is 53. We do the same thing for our upper quartile. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Start at the end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 71. So it's nice we didn't have to do any calculations for that part. Now we do, right? Now we have to do a little more work. Alright. If you remember, your inner quartile range is, I'll write it here too, Q3 minus Q1. So it's right here. Q3 is 71 minus 53. So when you calculate that, your inner quartile range should be 18. Alright, so I write that over here. 18. Because you're going to need that in a minute. Alright, I'm going to get rid of it over here. So if you need it, it was 71 minus 53. Alright, the next thing we have is called our lower quartile boundary. And this gets a little confusing, so try to stick with me here. And then your upper quartile boundary. Alright, they have a formula, of course, right? This is Q1 minus 1.5 standard deviations and your IQR. Your upper boundary is sort of the same, except it's the upper boundary, which would be your Q3 plus 1.5 times your IQR. Alright, so I suggest just keep writing this stuff down as much as you possibly can with the formulas. Just keep writing it down, no cards, no cards, no cards. Alright, so here we go. Now we just pick what we need. Q1 is 53. 53 minus 1.5 times 18, that's your IQR, inner quartile range. I'm going to set both up. Q3, 71, plus, make sure you write plus, 1.5, and this is 18, inner quartile range, 18. Alright, so now you're set up. All you got to do is type it in the calculator correctly, and you have this part done. So when you come out to this one, this is going to be a 26, and this one's going to be a 98. Alright, we're not done yet. So, what we have to do is we have to go up here and find 26 and 98. So 26 would be here. 26. And this is your lower quartile boundary, LQB. Lower quartile boundary. So that means any number that's on the left of this, which are these, are your outlier. Your outliers. Then we go to the other side, 98. That's over here. So 98 is over here somewhere. But do you see how there's no data, no values to the right of 98? Nothing's not higher than 98. So that means all of the data is inside our upper quartile boundary. So this is our upper quartile boundary. So that means there are no outliers on this side, but there are outliers on this side. Alright, you might want to write that down, maybe listen to it again if you're like, what's going on? Alright, so the only thing I forgot to do was 71. I forgot to put my Q3 here. Alright, one more thing. I know, it's a lot. In your data set, when we make the box and whisker plot, you can only use values that are inside your boundaries. If it lands on the boundary, like if we had a number that was 98, that's fine, you can use that number. If it's not inside the boundary, you have to pick the first number inside the boundary. So this becomes our first new data value, because these are outliers. Over here, 94 stays our last because it's inside your upper quartile boundary. After you have all that situated and sorted out, now I can erase these because I know what they are, my lower quartile boundary and my upper quartile boundary. I'm going to get rid of this, and then I'm actually going to create my box and whisker plot. Now, it has to start like this. When you do this part, every single time, this is your median. And it's right here, 65.5. This is going to be your quartile 1, or your lower quartile, this line. So this line is going to be 53. And if Q1, the median is really, right, Q2, and this one is Q3, which is 71. Okay, so now you have your quartiles are done in there. Alright, now we need to do the whisker part of this. So I'm going to take my, and I'm just going to go like this, and I'm going to go like this. Alright, now this is tricky. They are not your lower quartile boundaries. They are the numbers, the first data set either on your boundary or slightly inside of it. So all the data lies inside of your boundaries. So we already circled it. This is going to be 32. And on this side, nothing changed. It was still 94. I know you're not going to hear this, but we're not done yet. Alright, so outliers. So these are your outliers. You can't just leave them. You actually have to put little X's here. X, X, X. So this will be wherever 13 is on the number line, 19, and 24. So you put little X's there. So when you're doing this, there's a lot of information going on. You just have to do one step at a time. Alright? So if you need to pause it, listen to it again, please do that. I have to get rid of all this so we can do another one. Alright, here we go. Alright, let's go to our next data set here. They always give us a ton of numbers. Here we go. 46, 48, 50, 57, 60, 62, 63, 64, 65, 67, 67, 68, 68, and then we have 70, 70, 71, 72, 81, 82, 85, 88, and 89. Alright, here we go. So, we are going to start the same way we did the last couple lessons. Fill in what we know right away. We know our minimum is a 46. We know our maximum is an 89. We know that already. Alright, after we find them, then we have to find the median, right, of the data. So let's check out our n. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Alright, our n is 22. Even, which means we're going to have to add two numbers, divide by 2. So if it's 22, take a couple off. So that's 20, cut it in half, that's 10. So count 10 numbers in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that puts us there. Start at the end, count in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's here. Here's our two numbers for our middle, 67 and 68. So 67 plus 68 over 2 is 67.5. So that cuts it here. 67.5 is our median, or my Q2. Okay, so now we found that. Now we take the lower set of our data. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 means we can cut it directly in half. So we can do the old method like this. Go in, go in, go in, go in, 62. Alright, same thing here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 72. Alright. Now we can go over here and do our interquartile range, which is 72 minus 62. This is going to give us a 10 for that. Alright, so now we have a lot of that information is finished. Now we have to find our lower quartile boundary, and then our upper quartile boundary. Make sure you write the formula as much as you can. So this is Q1 minus, because it's going down, 1.5 standard deviations from your inner quartile range. Over here is Q3 plus, because it's upper, it's going to go up, 1.5 my IQR inner quartile range. Alright, now you have all your data, we substitute. Alright, I didn't mark my data here, hold on. 62, that's here. This is Q1, Q3, 72, Q3. I forgot to mark them. Because technically, if you put this on the number line straight across, if the board was big enough, this already sets up your box and whisker plot where your numbers are. But unfortunately, my board's not that long, and I don't write that small. Alright, so here we go. Let's do this. Q1, 62. Right, 62 here, minus 1.5. My inner quartile range was 10. Set my next one up. Q3 is 72, plus 1.5. My inner quartile range was 10. Alright. You solve those on the calculator, make sure you get the same answer I get. So for the first one we're going to have 47, and for the second one we're going to have 87. Alright, so now you take those and you go into your data. So we got to find where 47 is, right here. This cuts this out. If this cuts this out, this is our lower quartile boundary. That means this 46 is an outlier and can't be used in the data set. Alright, now we go over to 87. 85, 88, 87's here. And this is your upper quartile boundary. And that makes these two numbers outliers. So now that we have our outliers labeled and they're out of our data, neither one of the quartile boundaries landed on our data set. So that means you have to go one number from here up. That's our first number, and that's going to be our first whisker on the box and whisker plot on the lower side. Our upper whisker, we don't have a number at 87, so we have to come one in, one lower, and that's 85. So if your numbers were straight across, this is your whisker, your lower whisker, this is your upper whisker. Alright, now we just have to draw it. So we get rid of this. Draw our box and whisker. So we draw a box. Go like this. Put your whisker on one side, whisker on the other side. Now we know we just did our whiskers, right? We have 48. And we have 85. There are our whiskers. That's done. Alright? Now, we know that our median is 67.5. That's our Q2. Our Q1 is this line right here. Q1, Q2, Q3. Q1 is 62. Q3 is 72. So now your box is finished. Your whiskers are finished. You just can't forget that last part, and those are your quartiles that you have to put a little X there. So we have 46 over here. Over here we have 88 and 89. 88, 89. Alright? So, that's box and whisker plot. If you have any questions, please let me know. Make sure you're writing all those formulas out and getting all that data as much as you can. Alright, have a great day, guys. See you later.